will say it, badass. That's all they ever say, right? Why did he come here? He's already making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, easily. He's a master at it. Because he says, you know what, I could make an extra $50,000 a month here, an extra. Why not? And I bet you he's recruited more people into his top tier company from the sales that he's generated for these products. Why? Because it's more exposure, folks. It's a wider net. How would you like to participate in a community of 12,800 active buyers, active, people with active subscriptions? How would you like to participate and be able to promote yourself in an environment where not only can you learn, not only can you grow, not only can you learn the secrets, not only you can participate in something simple, not only can you resell it if you choose for 100% commissions, not only can you do those things, but we can give you exposure like you've never had in your life if you want to step it up a little bit, right? That's what we can do at the Empower Network for you, and that's what we're doing. So how do you do it? And that's the question. So I'm going to get into some concepts here, all right? And now that I've gotten myself all hyped up and pumped, I just can't help selling, by the way. I just love it. I've just been doing this for such a long time now. I love communicating that message of inspiration because I know something, folks. Some of you guys are looking at me and you're saying, how does he do the things that he does? And I'll tell you how, and then I'm going to move on and get some secrets. I'll tell you how I do it. I do it because I used to wander around in Walmart hitting people up on street corners. I do it because I used to drive around in my car listening to Amway tapes looking for people to talk to as prospects. I do it because I've done thousands of home meetings in people's homes trying to convince them to buy stuff that they didn't want to buy. I can do it because I've been in rooms after I've made money where there's skeptical people with huge beards folding their arms in the back of the room saying, yeah, that guy's a scammer, right? And I've still stayed positive and kept going. That pain allows you to be able to sell like nobody else can sell. That's how I do it, right? That's how all the leaders who are successful. But we want to make sure that it's not just the people that have had years of pain that can succeed, because that's always how it was for me. Years of pain and you're successful, or you have no pain yet and you got to go through it for the next 6 years to be successful. And that's always what it's been. But what we've done here is taken the skills of the best people and put it into a system that you can turn it on and you just focus on traffic. So then the question is, and the only question is, how do you get traffic? You might be saying, well, what do I do with the traffic? Folks, don't do anything. For now, just focus on traffic. Now, we're talking to new people here. There's some leaders here. We're going to bring out some leadership strategies here if you're a leader. But we're talking if you're new. And by new, here's what I mean. You ain't made good money yet. All right? You ain't made good money, Matt. You say, well, I'm not new. Well, here's the question. Have you made more than $5,000 a month yet? If you haven't, you're new. And you're broke in this industry. All right? Now, you guys can take that or leave it if you don't like that language there, but if you ain't made more than $5,000 a month in this industry, you're broke, right? That's what I mean. So what should you focus on? Here, one thing, traffic. Now, here's a question for you, is if that's all you have to focus on, can you figure that out? No configuration, no setup, no optimization. You don't have to focus on front-end conversions. You don't have to focus on lead conversions. You just got to focus on traffic. Can you trust us to do the selling, and you can focus on traffic? Well, then the answer is, well, absolutely. That's only one thing to learn rather than 52, right? So how do you get traffic? How do you do it, right? Well, what we do here at Empower Network is we realize something, all right, that if you look over the Internet, since the Internet has been around, there's been one thing that has driven the Internet since the Internet's been around. Now, the nature of the one thing has changed, all right? It's gone from one kind of thing to another kind of thing, but it's always been one thing. And what is it? It's content, right? Content drives traffic. That's it, right? Look at the biggest networks on the Internet. What drives traffic to Facebook? Content. What kind of content? People social commenting, right? People talking to each other. People writing articles and blogs. That's what creates the content. Look at Twitter. What creates the movement in Twitter? Content. People are writing things all through the day and posting them to Twitter. Twitter's in the top 10 websites in the world right now, right? What's Google? Google's a search engine to look for content. So how do you create traffic? Well, traffic is created from content. A lot of people say, well, I create traffic from PPC. That's true, folks. If you do paid advertising, you can just tap into what? The content somebody else created. Because what's PPC? PPC is where somebody else created the content, and you're putting an ad on their content, isn't it? Look at PPC on a site like ezinearticles.com. Now, some of you guys are like, well, God, I'm not an internet guy, Dave. Slow down a little bit. Well, folks, just pay attention here for a second. If you put an ad on Ezine Articles, one of the highest trafficked article sites on the internet, what are you advertising to? Somebody else's content. If you go to youtube.com and you post an ad, who are you advertising to? Somebody else's content, somebody else's traffic that they created. You go to Facebook and you do a Facebook ad, who are you advertising to? Somebody else's content. What created the traffic? Did the ad create the traffic? No, the content did, and you borrowed some of it with your money, right? Well, I'll tell you something, folks. Systemically, paid ads have been shut down online from big networks for this industry. If you look back over the history over the last several years, and let's not lie about it for a second, let's just look at what's actually gone on, right? What did Google do? Well, they saw 5,000 zillion people who all are having the same looking ads with the same looking website saying the same stuff to the same people, and they say, this is horse manure, let's shut this down. So what they do, they slap down 50,000 direct response marketers. Why? Because they don't like us. They like content. Why do they like content? Because what content is, what good content is by definition, is it's something that adds value to the person experiencing it without the advertisements, with no advertisement. It adds value to them. It gives them what they're looking for. So if somebody's looking for, how to make money on the internet, and they do a Google search and there's an ad that says, see a naked picture of Paris Hilton, Google's going to shut that ad down, ain't they? Why? Because it's not related to what the searcher is looking for. Now, that's a little bit of an extreme example, folks, but just listen here for a second. You're going to follow along this line of thinking, and then you're going to know why this community is powerful. You're also going to know some hidden stuff we haven't really talked to you guys about, and you're also going to know what to do here to get the most out of it. So just pay attention here for a second. This is important stuff, and then we're going to bring some people out who are going to go over some additional strategies with you, right? So then Google likes the content. Now, why do they like that? Because their business, now this is key, people, and Google's the biggest network in the world, Facebook's number 2, and they both operate under the same principles, right? Why do they like it? Well, because their business, check this, their customers are not people advertising. Their customers are the searchers. Do you guys realize that? It's not the advertisers, it's the searchers, because without the people searching on Google, nobody will pay for ads. Who's Facebook's customers? It's not the people advertising, folks. Who is it? It's the people that are there to talk to people. Why? Because without them, who are you advertising to? So guess what? If you're doing something that Google doesn't like, right, why don't they like it? They don't like it because it is against the nature of search. You're doing something that is not informative. It's not delivering value outside of your ads. If Facebook doesn't like your stuff, why don't they like it? Because it's not social and it interrupts with the social flow of Facebook. So if you want to stay on those things, what do you got to do? You got to go within the means and the rules of why those sites operate in the way they do, which is a service to the users, not the businesses, right? So the nature of search, of social media has evolved since the Internet's been around to push out people spam it. Why? Because spam sucks and nobody likes it. You guys realize that. What do you go on Facebook to do? To chit-chat, don't you? Well, we decided, you know what, rather than relying on this traffic that just continues to get shut down, and let's be honest, it has. Everybody who's done PPC, I got on the internet, and it was like 6 months later. I had friends, folks, that were dumping $30,000 a month on Google PPC. They were sitting like fat, happy cats on the top of a mountain saying, look at all these people who are just clicking on my ads. Isn't it glorious? I can spend money for the rest of my life. And where are they today? They're gone. Why? Because they were relying on somebody else's traffic. How do you create traffic? You create stuff that people want to see. Why did we build a blog network? Because, folks, all the biggest websites on the internet come from one thing. It comes from community-generated content. Is it more powerful as a concept to get one person on one site blogging every day or to get 12,000 people on one site blogging every day? What's going to get more traffic, not just for them, but for everyone? It's the people blogging on one domain every day. Here's a cool thing about Empower Network that you guys might not know. When you refer a customer into the Empower Network, they buy our system, and they start blogging, right? What happens if they stop paying? Well, a lot of you are like, well, I don't know. I never even thought about that. Well, I did think about it. That's actually one of my core motivations here. What happens, folks, is if they stop paying, they get locked out, number one. Number two, all their affiliate links stay there. Number three, if somebody comes and buys, the commission skips to you. You inherit the traffic of the people who quit. That's what happens. So if you come here, let me just point something out to you here, and this is just an advantage of getting a big community of people working together, all right? Now, if you go out and you build a website, and we're talking you're consistent for years, you're just rock solid, consistent in your business for years, and you blog 5 times a week, in a year you got about 200 blog posts. Now, for me, it's taken about 2.5 years to create 200 blog posts, honestly. Right? 2.5. Rob Ford's a little more consistent than me. A lot of people have been better at me at creating more, but not better content. But guess what? Those 200 posts still get me 3,500 visitors a day. So imagine if I did 2,000 posts or 20,000 posts. But I want you to imagine something for a second. If you just start referring customers into our system, if you just start selling it, how do you sell it? You get them to see our videos. We'll sell it. You just focus on the traffic. We'll get you the leads. You keep the leads. And we'll help you sell it. And the only times we email them, we're going to help you sell it. Why? Because I want you to be successful because I know you'll stick around. But guess what happens, folks? You refer people in, they start blogging, and they say, hey, it's not for me. Guess what happens? What happens is you just created paid traffic from people that are paying you. What do I mean by that? Now, this is going to warp your mind a little bit, but just hear this out here because this is useful. And this is why you want to get your team blogging every day, folks. Every day you want those guys blogging. Why? Because they quit, you get their traffic. That's why. So if they come in, they say, hey, I've been doing this for 90 days. I've been trying. It's so painful. I've only brought in, I've only gotten a few people, and I'm out. You say, you're welcome to go because you just inherited 90 blog posts. And guess how long it took me to create that? 1.5 years. You just inherited 1.5 years of work from somebody who quit, right? Now, is that powerful or what? Right? So if I were you, I'd just get it. I would help as many people start blogging as humanly possible. Why? Because blogging creates traffic by its nature. This is what's happened so far at the Empower Network, folks. We started this company, all right, and it's been 1.5 months, all right, I think exactly, somewhere around